Wake up, Texans Nation. You're about to witness the most dramatic 24 hours in Houston Texans history. And what I'm about to reveal will have you experiencing every emotion possible. We're talking about 3 game-changing developments that just exploded across the NFL landscape, each one more shocking than the last. Imagine this wild scenario. A defensive star who was supposed to anchor our secondary just had a terrifying injury scare that had the entire fan base holding his breath. But the latest update will either restore your faith or leave you questioning everything. Your franchise quarterback and his top receiver just made declarations about their partnership that sound like championship music to your ears. And then there's a veteran safety whose legal troubles just took a turn that could impact this team for months to come. Hit that like button right now if you're ready for this emotional roller coaster. Drop a comment if you think you can handle the truth about what's really happening behind the scenes. And if you're not subscribed yet, you're missing the most authentic Texans Nation coverage on the planet. The clock is ticking toward week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams, and every single one of these stories will directly impact whether we start the season as champions or pretenders. We've got injury updates that went from nightmare to miracle in less than 48 hours. We've got chemistry between quarterback and receiver that has experts talking Super Bowl potential. And we've got legal drama that shows how quickly a player's career can be derailed by off-field decisions. Are you ready to discover how our defensive secondary went from disaster to potentially dominant in one doctor's visit? Can you handle hearing about the quarterback-receiver connection that has analysts comparing them to some of the greatest duos in NFL history? And most importantly, are you prepared to learn about the legal situation that could cost us a veteran leader when we need him most? Smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications because Texans Nation deserves to know every detail. Leader Alpha, future of our season hangs in the balance. And the first revelation involves a player who nearly broke every Texans fan's heart this week. The Gardner-Johnson situation just went from absolute nightmare to pure relief. And the update that just dropped will have every Texans fan breathing again. Picture this horror story that unfolded during practice. Gardner-Johnson colliding with receiver John Mechie III, Lordy, in what looked like a routine play, then immediately going down in visible pain, unable to put weight on his right leg. The veteran safety being carted off the field while the entire fan base watched their championship. Dreams potentially crumble before week 1 even arrived. Early fears of a severe knee issue had Texans Nation in complete panic mode. We're talking about our most important off-season acquisition, the ball-hawking safety, who came over from the Philadelphia Eagles with championship pedigree and was supposed to be the final piece of DeMeco Ryans' defensive puzzle. 6 interceptions, a pick 6, 12 pass breakups, and 35 solo tackles last season. This man was supposed to transform our secondary from promising to dominant. But then the miracle news that every Texans fan desperately needed to hear. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that testing ruled out a torn ACL, and Gardner-Johnson could realistically return for the season opener against the Los Angeles Rams. From potential season-ending injury to week 1 availability in less than 48 hours, head coach DeMeco Ryans didn't just ease our fears, he completely eliminated them. He expects Gardner-Johnson to be ready for week 1, and those words should be music to every Texans fan's ears. We're talking about having our secondary at full strength when we face Matthew Stafford and one of the most dangerous receiving duos in the NFL with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. Gardner-Johnson was listed as a starting safety opposite rookie Callum Bullock on the initial depth chart, with Jalen Reed expected to rotate in. His availability isn't just about depth, it's about having a veteran leader who brings that fiery edge and game-changing instincts that championship teams need. From potential disaster to championship-level optimism in less than 2 days, that's the kind of emotional whiplash that makes being a Texans fan both terrifying and exhilarating. But hold on to your jerseys, Texans Nation, because if you think injury updates are the most exciting news coming out of Houston, wait until you hear what our franchise quarterback and his favorite target just said about their partnership. The CJ Stroud and Nico Collins connection just reached a level that has championship written all over it. And what Collins just revealed will give you goosebumps. Let's be real about last season's challenges. Stroud faced more adversity in his sophomore year than most quarterbacks see in their entire careers. The offensive line struggled mightily, and injuries decimated our receiving core in ways that would break lesser quarterbacks. Tank Dell missed the last 5 regular season games with a fractured fibula, and Collins himself missed 5 games, leaving Stroud without his favorite target for crucial stretches. Even with the addition of Stephon Diggs, Stroud's numbers dipped from that magical rookie season. 3,127 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions on a 63.2% completion rate. Respectable, but not the explosive growth we all expected from our franchise quarterback. But here's where it gets exciting. Whenever Stroud and Collins were both healthy and on the field together, magic happened. Since Stroud entered the NFL, Collins has absolutely exploded with a combined 148 catches for 303 yards and 15 touchdowns. We're talking about elite level production that has analysts comparing them to some of the greatest quarterback receiver duos in the league. And then Collins dropped the quote that should have every Texans fan believing in Super Bowl possibilities. It's like taking candy from a baby. It's bread and butter. It's only right for us to continue to grow, continue to find the timing, and continue to work on our craft. That's the kind of confidence you hear from receivers who know their quarterback, can find them anywhere on the field. Collins isn't just talking about individual success, he's talking about a connection so natural, so instinctive, that it feels effortless. Collins wasn't done dropping bombshells. I feel like we could be dangerous, man. I feel we all just go out there and be us. That's the main important thing, is go out and be you. Don't make the moment bigger than what it is and go out just have fun. Make plays for the team. Dangerous. That's the word that should have every NFL defense shaking in their boots. When your number one receiver talks about the quarterback connection like bread and butter and predicts they can be dangerous, that's not hope. That's championship level confidence. But Texans Nation, if you think quarterback receiver chemistry is the most compelling story coming out of Houston, prepare yourself for the legal drama that could impact our defensive depth in ways nobody saw coming. Texans Nation, the Jimmie Ward situation just took a serious turn that could impact our defensive depth for the entire season, and the legal developments are absolutely shocking. We already knew Ward was going to be unavailable for at least the first 4 weeks on the reserve chalk PUP list due to off-season foot surgery. But now his absence could stretch far beyond that original timeline because of legal troubles that are spiraling out of control. Ward finds himself on the commissioner's exempt list, the same designation typically reserved for domestic violence cases. And for good reason. The 34-year-old veteran safety was arrested in June on an assault family violence charge, which is a third-degree felony, but it gets worse. Ward was arrested again in August for violating his bail conditions by consuming alcohol. The family violence charge is now set to be presented to a grand jury, and the outcome will determine whether Ward faces serious criminal charges or if the case gets dismissed entirely. His attorney, Steve Jackson, is trying to remain optimistic. We are prepared to present a strong packet to the grand jury to show that Jimmie should not be indicted. We believe we have strong information and facts to assist the grand jury to no-bill Mr. Ward. But here's the harsh reality. Even if Ward avoids criminal charges, he still has a civil suit stemming from the alleged incident to deal with. We're talking about legal battles that could stretch for months, keeping him away from the team during a crucial season where every game matters. Ward is prohibited from practicing or playing while on the commissioner's exempt list, which means our defensive depth takes another hit just when we need it most. The 11-year veteran was supposed to provide veteran leadership and playoff experience to a secondary that's still developing its identity under DeMeco Ryans. The financial implications are staggering too. Ward is owed $3.25 million in 2025 with 1 year remaining on his contract. That's salary cap money tied up in a player who might never see the field again in a Texans uniform. Depending on how his legal situation unfolds, the timing couldn't be worse. Just as we're getting positive news about CJ Gardner-Johnson's recovery and building excitement about our offensive potential, we're reminded that off-field decisions can derail careers and impact team chemistry in ways that go far beyond the stat sheet. Ward's attorney's submission is due Tuesday and is scheduled to be presented to the grand jury later this week. The outcome will determine if this becomes a long-term distraction or if Ward can eventually return to contribute to our championship aspirations. But regardless of the legal outcome, the damage is already done. Ward has missed crucial training, camp time, preseason preparation, and team-building activities that are essential for defensive cohesion. Even if he's cleared to return, can he quickly integrate into Ryan's system and contribute at a high level? Texans Nation, this is why character matters just as much as talent. We can have all the skill in the world, but if players can't stay on the field due to poor decisions, it doesn't matter how good they are between the lines. What do you think? Should the organization have done more background research before signing Ward? Or are these the kinds of risks every team has to take? Sound off in the comments because this situation affects our entire defensive strategy.